So I was in that house, and there was only one sign of karuna, of compassion actually, from a nun. I cannot tell her name, and she was very nice to me. She, even in that situation, it was very shocking. She still believed that Guruji is innocent in all this captivity, and she understood. She was probably lied, fooled that all this is happening to me because of his Sangha, which was Tomek Dorje and Shangbodong and Molam Lama and Khaiba, and later Darshan Subba Limbu. So she didn't understand that this has anything to do with her guru, and so she was convincing me that Guruji is innocent in this. I cannot bear the sight how they are torturing you, but I am sure that Guruji is innocent in this. And she was from Hetauda, from a monastery, and she told me she will try to be with me, and she will try to make my suffering less if she can. And seriously, she was trying to come many times and offered me help because my hands were broken. I couldn't change my clothes. She helped me to change my underwear and things which I was totally unable to do. And I'm a woman, I have some standards. She helped me a lot to feel a little better, even if tied and chained. But later on, when Dorje realized that she's too nice to me, they kind of forbid her to come, and never again they allowed her to come. So obviously compassion was something what Bomjon and his Sangha was not ready to accept from others towards me. Then I told that I was kept in a place under the house, the clay house of the women, which was behind the kitchen hut. If someone had been in Halkhoriya those time can understand this positioning. These buildings are obviously bulldozed down by now. And I protested, and they then made, by the help of Usha Didi, the aunt of Dipshika, which is the current girlfriend of Bomjon, they made for me a place farther in the jungle. But that place was also not really far, deep in the jungle. If someone knows how big is Halkhoriya from the map, you can watch. I was not in the deep of the jungle. I was actually in the level of Bomjon's own Kajokpa, which is not so far. It's near the smaller lake, near the Nadi, the drinking water spring, which had dried out by that time already. But there was a remnant of the small lake still, and that place they were building his Kajokpa. So I was hearing every day the tractor coming. It's a forest, so it was echoing the workers' speech, how they are putting up and down the big wooden logs. That time I didn't think about the wood cutting issue, because it's normal if someone is building a house in the forest, someone uses wooden logs. And I was seeing woodcutters carrying wooden logs, big logs, from place to place, especially before the Maitri Puja. But the shocking thing is that after all this, his Sangha, especially the international Sangha, is writing something about forbidding the villagers to cut trees, and that the villagers are destroying the trees and cutting the trees in Halkhoriya. That is nonsense. I never saw villagers carrying wooden logs, and I know Halkhoriya quite too well. But I saw the workers of Bomjon's own compound carrying wooden logs on a daily basis before the Maitri Puja preparations. Anyway, they were building his Kajukpa in a very noisy way. Of course, they needed the generator, probably for mixing the asphalt, the concrete for the house. It was very noisy. It was really a torture, because it was not like a pristine jungle like Joan Stanley Barker is writing about Halkhoriya, the Bomjon's Halkhoriya. It's a Halkhoriya of generators, tractor noises, stones jumping on the tractor. You can hear such a tractor coming already from 6 kilometers far Pasa Bridge, because it's so noisy. And shouting workers. And so the atmosphere there was very hellish, very bad. It was not an idyllic jungle as I was knowing. But could I choose? Of course I couldn't choose my situation. I had already chosen, and that choice was a mistake. I had chosen to trust Ram Bomjon, and I had chosen to be his chela, or I don't even know. I just felt this attraction that the Guru wanted me there, and he was calling me all the time. So I had chosen already to trust and believe him, which was the biggest mistake in my life. And so the first days they put me there, the absurd in all this was that while there they put big chains with circles like this, with parts like this, big steel chains on my ankles and on my neck, and they tied me to a dry tree of maybe that size, like that whitish tree, but that was a very high and straight small tree. They also put my own tent there. Mani Lama in the press conference is claiming that we gave her a tent and we didn't torture her, we just kept her there. It's total nonsense. Mani Lama was all the time sitting in Kathmandu, so he plays the speaker of the Bonti-Shravan Dharma Sangha, but he has no idea. He was just inventing something which would sound relatively correct behavior from them. Though it's absurd what is correct in chaining a woman for 3 months in a jungle where she doesn't want to be. I only came because Bomjon was inviting me, but I didn't ever want to stay with those people, with those non-spiritual, wild, rude and violent people. I had no connection to them. But I was there, I couldn't escape anymore at that stage. And so they put me my tent there, which was sent by my partner to me for a lot of money, and for him it was a lot of money, but he wished to help me. He sent me a big box with my clothes and the tent he bought for me, and so that was something like a gift, an emotion and value. And that tent was dirtied in the end of the 3 months by Darshan's sexual biological liquids when he was raping me. So it's very, very disgusting and very adharmic behavior. And obviously I still cannot get out from that shock what Ram Bomjon did to me there. And so they gave me not only that tent, they gave me physical comfort, really. They gave me my mat, plastic mat, and they also gave me my sleeping bag because it was winter. It was absurd. It seemed like Bomjon was trying to keep me alive, so that and relatively healthy, so that I can enjoy his torture even better, or I don't know. It's just absurd. I was on chains. I was beaten to blood. My broken hand was not treated, but he gave me this physical comfort. So I was warm. I never felt cold, for example. But concerning the other physical needs, which I also vowed not to disclose, there was some trick in it, and obviously he didn't show to his Sangha, and like Ivy Jugua is telling, we saw they are carrying to her a lot of good food 5 times a day. She cannot even think about it. If I had eaten 5 times a day in that place, I would not look like that, like I looked when I was hardly walking out from the jungle. I could hardly stand on my feet, and I was thin like women after concentration camps. So there is a lot of things that people should think about and not make quick conclusions just because they saw someone carrying a plate with food to the jungle. As we know, let's continue. So, yes, I was in this tent, and then I didn't know what to do, what will happen. In the beginning, the first days, I was kept alone, totally alone, and so I thought that this is it. This will be that state and that condition in which they will leave me forever. Because when Bomjon was letting me tied there, he told me, you will be in Halkhoriya forever. You will be on chains forever in your beloved Halkhoriya. And he was very ironical. So I was expecting that, okay, now I can just wait until I slowly die from this being alone in the jungle without any care. But that was not the case. That was not the case. Soon Tomek Dorje had been arriving and improving my chains. He made it very tight on my ankles, and I was begging him, please, you destroyed last time, you were already making my hands very tight, so don't do again this same mistake, don't make me such a tight what is it called, chaining, because it's suffering, it's a permanent suffering. But he didn't care. He seemed to actually want me to suffer. So until today, my ankle joints are damaged because these big chains were tied around it 2 times and were permanently pushing. And he put a big padlock like this on every connection of the chains. So there was one padlock, big size, big steel padlock like this, on my right ankle, one on my left ankle, one on my neck, and 3 on that tree where the chain was connecting it to the tree. In the beginning they also wanted to tie my hands, but he put down the chain and he's saying, your hand is broken and you cannot use it. So in the beginning I think they tied my left hand because that was still not broken. They broke it later, Molam Lama. Oh no, so Molam Lama re-broke my right hand, and the left hand was broken by Bomjon himself. So in the beginning they tied my left hand all together with this chain system so that I could not do anything like escape or I don't know, find some food or something. The chains were very short anyway. They were like half meter short, so obviously I was not given breaks going out. The only place where I could do my toilet was also half meter in front of my own place of stay for 3 months. And with broken hands I couldn't hold even a little branch in my hand. I couldn't hold anything. My holding ability was 0. So in the beginning, in the first weeks and months, I couldn't even make a hole for my toilet. Which, if someone is thinking about it, Ivy Jugoa, Andrea Good, these hygienic ladies, just please try to imagine what your guru is able to do to a woman. Actually, this hygienic thing was a very huge torture for me. Bomjon also didn't allow me to change my menstruation pads, which is a way he wanted to humiliate me most. You can imagine, if you are a woman, even if you are a man maybe, 3 months menstruating woman is not allowed to change, to give even a piece of pad and change her clothes and wash herself. So I had a few like shawls and such things, and I had to decide what is more important, to protect me from cold or to create for myself a relatively civilized condition. It was a dilemma always. I am not going to describe these things because obviously they are disgusting, and that time I was starting to think this is not a divine being. This is cannot, even if he wants me to practice tapasya or self-control, this cannot be something what would be beneficial for anyone, for anything. This doesn't make me more divine, and it doesn't make me enlightened, but the funny thing is that he never wanted that. It's just me, it's just us who think that he ever wanted us to become enlightened or spiritually purified. Come on, how can you be purified when you are sitting in your own sitting in the same place without toilet, and your own place is your toilet. Even dogs are allowed to go to toilet when they are tied in a house. So at that time I was starting to think that something with my devotion towards him is not okay. It's not a divine plan, not a divine project, what he is doing to me. And that time he was still not doing all those violent things yet, which came a little later. But there was a certain way to torture me. That time, that was something I cannot disclose because that was vowed by me as an exchange for freedom. Though it was from my side, because I wanted to be free so much, so I was promising, I will not tell anything to the world what you did to me. But Darshan told me after the 3 months, anyway, we will anyway kill you. You can maximally choose the date of your, the day of your death, but not that you cannot avoid it. We will kill you, Darshan Subba Limbu told me. As a message from Ram Bomjon, because he was speaking in plural, we, Bomjon and him. So there was an occasion when obviously the torture was working on me, and I realized slowly that I got to hell. That was a real hell. Although I must say that there was something which was keeping me alive, and that was the birds and the plants and the fragrance of the forest, the energy of the forest, monkeys coming above. All the animals came and watched me. They were shocked. They didn't get it. It was very obvious. And so they were my only companions, and I cannot even describe it. But there were miraculous things concerning the animals and the forest, which somehow enabled me to survive this extreme situation and hatred from the people and Bomjon himself. So, as I was always a meditator and I was always a yogi, I didn't shout, I didn't even cry even once, because I wanted to be strong. All my family was always very strong. Even my mother was suffering from her childhood very much, but very strong personality. And I think I inherited something from her, because anyone else would be hysterical or crying or begging or losing one's face. But during my yoga practice, my 25 years prior to this captivity, I went through very deep states. I went through all the 8 stages of Patanjali yoga, Ashtanga yoga. So practically nothing could really surprise me in the way we are experiencing death and facing death. I came to Bomjon like a ready yogi already, an accomplished yogi. I didn't come to take, I came to give. And originally I came like a supporter, but he twisted this relationship between me and him towards something like he needs me and he wants me to be his follower and his favorite chela. And he was constantly calling me to him secretly, and always made sure that the Sangha must not know about it at any cost. And it was a dilemma, of course, for me, because I don't know why I didn't I didn't obey his callings for long. So that time I was thinking, okay, so I got into this situation through my own stupidity, that I worshipped a human being, which is number one sin for Christians, Jews, and Muslims also. For the world's three monotheistic religions, to worship a human being is a sin, because God is a spirit, God is an invisible invisible soul, and God is inside us most of all. But I fell into this great mistake, and I also worshipped him, was very devoted to him. So I got into this situation. Now I'm sitting on chains, I cannot escape. So in that situation I had to do something positive, something useful which I can do, and that was again what I can do as a yogi. I can just practice yoga, meditate and pray. Obviously I can hardly do any asanas, and my body was very run down by the conditions, so